Major moves, we going all in, like we got nothing to lose. We making moves, we making major moves, we making moves, we making major moves, we making moves.
Welcome back to my channel. I want to thank you guys for actively deciding to spend time with me. I'm just a guy in a Spider-Man mask, a cool one I might add. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just providing information and content already on the internet, and I just read it and present it to you guys in a way that may reach you or may not reach you. Whatever the reason is you found my page, I'm grateful you're here, and thank you for spending time with me. Let's get into this.
What is up, everybody? I am Mr. Man, and today I'm coming to bring you guys regulations and an understanding of regulations. We in this channel are aware that global crypto standards are being dropped end of the year. We are now in Q4, which leaves end of October, potential November, and December. What happens in October typically? We get a red October. Regulations, in some shape, way, or form, tend to get dropped in November. And then in December, there's usually a Santa Claus rally at that point. We'll see if that's the trend this year. But as we're talking, let me show you this. I don't even have it pulled up yet, but I will show you this, okay? I think you guys deserve to see it on this channel. I know we've spoken about it. I know I posted it before. I posted it on my YouTube channel already. But I want to show you guys this today. Not that. That's me. Let me get to my main channel here. Oh, that was it. Okay. This right here. So this is the international. This is IOSCO, along with the CPMI infrastructure. Will have global standards recommendation for crypto assets by the end of 2023. Listen to this, okay? Let me pause or mute my mic, and I'll bring this in for you guys.
And if you think of crypto as having developed in a set of phases or cycles, so if you look back at the beginning, back famously in 2008 and 2009, it was set up. Okay, then you had a first, as I see it, this is my own sort of informal history, a first sort of wave or boom around the time Litecoin was established in 2011. They built up a few assets. Then you had another sort of crypto period in 2013, 2015. At the time Ethereum was founded, but also at the time that people discovered that crypto is very good for sanctions busting and very good for money laundering. That was a period that sort of drew to a lot of people's attention. But at that point, it wasn't particularly impacting, frankly, on securities markets. But the next wave of crypto, which happened at the time of the ICO craze around 2017, 2018, the initial coin offering phase, that brought them into close relationship with securities markets. At that time, in effect, crypto was used to establish a sort of shadow primary market for venture capital, if you give it a maybe too pompous a title for what was going on. We produced a report in 2020 on crypto platforms. We produced a report on retail investors, and we produced a report on stablecoin. And then we went on to produce a report, which frankly took some time to do because it is complicated what's happening in this space. We did a report on DeFi. And pulling all that information together, we moved into a new phase of work, because it's at that point in time that IOSCO decided that we need to produce recommendations for how crypto should be regulated. And the first step in that was our work with CPMI to produce recommendations in relation to stablecoins, and that came out in July 2022. And at the same time, we produced a roadmap promising to deliver global recommendations in relation to how crypto should be regulated when it comes to securities market, and we promised to deliver that by the end of 2023 in two sections. One to deal with crypto and crypto trading platforms, and the second to deal with DeFi. So we have just published in May this year our recommendations as to how crypto should be regulated.
Boom. So there you have it there. Crypto global regulations, DeFi, and whatever the other one was. I don't recall right now. But the two of them right there. I will come back to this after. Oh, did I not post it? I didn't post it. That's terrible. Just terrible. Okay, but I'm going to jump right into this. Today I'm going to give you guys the game that nobody else will talk about or is talking about. Why? Because not many people out there understand regulations the way I do. As a regulatory individual in the aviation industry, this is my bread and butter, right? Get that knife, get that slice of bread, and I will do this all day long. Let's jump into this. In the EU, we now have new terms. Under MiCA, EMTs and ARTs are two types of stablecoins that are regulated under the EU's Markets in Crypto Assets MiCA framework. Here are the key differences between EMTs and ARTs. EMTs, electronic money tokens. EMTs are pegged to a single fiat currency such as the euro or the US dollars. EMTs are backed by tangible world assets, meaning that the issuer must have assets stored somewhere that are equivalent in value to the EMTs that they issue. So it must be money, dollar for dollars, just like USDC at that point. EMTs are regulated under the Electronic Money Directive and require issuers to obtain an e-money license and a MiCA license. EMT issuers must maintain their own corporate capital at a ratio of 3% of the total reserves held to back that token. EMT issuers must deposit at least 30% of the funds received in separate accounts in credit institutions and invest the remaining funds in secure, low-risk assets that qualify as high liquidity financial instruments. So, that is your tokenized deposit, essentially. You take your fiat dollar, go to the ATM, the money goes in. You see that screen that you're looking at now, and it says, okay, Mr. Man, you've deposited $2,000. That $2,000 on the screen now has value. You just tokenized that deposit. That's your tokenized deposit right there. Let's go on. ARTs, asset reference tokens. ARTs can be pegged to more than one fiat, physical asset, cryptocurrency, or a mixture of all three of them. Do you see where we're going with this? ARTs are subject to regulations protecting consumers and market integrity, right? ARTs issuers are required to keep an asset reserve, almost like an escrow, in accordance with the requirements. You see where I'm going with this? ARTs with an average outstanding value that does not exceed 5 million euro over a 12-month period and or that are addressed solely to qualified investors. You see how the retail investor gets locked out now? That are addressed solely to qualified investors and can only be held by such qualified investors are exempted from the regulatory requirements. Whew! Fire. In summary, the main difference between ARTs and EMTs are the configurations of the underlying assets that supports the price, the number of fiat currencies or assets that it can be pegged to, and the regulations that they're subject to. So, issuers of EMT and ARTs are subject to prudential requirements. Remember that term, prudential requirements of maintaining own funds at least equal to 350,000 euros or 2%. This is all in the UK here, okay? Things happen in the UK first. We've already seen China has gone live, then it happens in the UK, then it reaches over to the Americas, US, Canada. I don't even know if we can consider, I guess, South America, yeah. Even though they apply to be part of the BRICS nation now, but part of the Americas. Among the tokens, okay, whichever's higher. The offering of ARTs and EMTs to the public or seeking their admission to a trading platform is the EU. In the EU, is in principle subject to prior authorization by the national supervisory authorities of the registered seat of the offerer within 3 months from submission of the application. Wow, I don't even know how to describe that to you guys. ARTs with an average outstanding value that does not exceed 5 million euros over a 12-month period and that are addressed solely to qualified investors can only be held by such qualified investors, and they're exempt from the regulatory requirements. Okay, now that you know that and understand that, I hope you do, let's jump into those prudential standards, right? The prudential treatment of crypto assets as told by the BCBS, the Basel Committee. And who was the Basel Committee? The BIS. So the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision published its final rules in the prudential treatment of crypto asset exposures in December 2022. We've gone through this several times on this page here. If you guys aren't familiar with it, go down and get yourself caught up. But I will go through them briefly today so you have an understanding. So, unbacked crypto assets and stablecoins with ineffective stabilization mechanisms will be subject to a conservative prudential treatment. According to the final standard, banks are required to classify crypto assets on an ongoing basis into two groups. Group 1. The crypto asset must meet in full a set of classifications. Let me show you guys where I'm at, okay? Classification condition. The asset in this group include tokenized traditional assets, which pose the same level of credit and market risk as the non-tokenized form. So it's 1-to-1. That's your digital twin they're talking about there. And crypto assets with effective stabilization mechanism linking the value to one or more traditional assets. That's your group 1B. That's your stablecoin. Stablecoins no longer exist. Stablecoins are now known as EMTs and ARTs in the UK. What are they going to be called in the Americas? What are they called out in, I guess, the Asias? What are they called out in India and Africa? In the Middle East? I don't know yet. I haven't gone through VARA. I haven't gone through VARAs out in the Middle East. I haven't gone through what happens in India. Because they're already using their mechanism. Their government platform has already come out. So while the capital requirements of Group 1 assets generally follow the existing Basel framework, an infrastructure risk add-on to risk-weighted assets. That's an RWA. Whenever you hear or see an RWA, that's what it's talking about. Risk-weighted asset. So your gold, your bonds, your securities, your tokenized traditional assets, whatever that is, may apply if weaknesses are identified in the underlying exposure on which the crypto asset is based. So, Group 1, stablecoins must satisfy a redemption risk test and an additional supervision regulation requirement which are likely to evolve in the future. Group 1 excludes algorithmic stablecoins and assets using protocols to maintain their value. So Group 1 are your stablecoins, your EMTs and your ARTs. Then you have Group 1A, your tokenized traditional assets. Group 1B are your stablecoins or your EMTs, ARTs. Know the difference. Group 2 are unbacked crypto assets at this point, where you'd find your Bitcoins or Ethereums or Polygons and Cosmos and what else is there? Whatever else there is. The crypto assets do not meet the classification condition of Group 1 and are subject to a new conservative capital treatment. These assets include tokenized traditional assets and stablecoins which fail the Group 1 classification conditions, such as Terra Luna, your algorithmic stablecoin. An additional hedging recognition criteria sets the conditions for those Group 2 assets where a limited degree of hedging can be recognized. Group 2A, where the hedging is not recognized, and 2B, banks' total exposure to crypto assets must not exceed a 2% limit of the Tier 1 capital, should generally be lower than the Tier 1. Exposures under the 1% threshold will be risk-weighted. Listen to this. Exposures under the 1% threshold will be risk-weighted according to whether the asset does or does not meet the hedging recognition criteria for Group 1 assets. What is that? Banks breaching the 1% limit expectations must apply Group 2 capital treatment. What is that? That's a 1,250% risk weight. You see that right there. for unbacked crypto, if they don't meet that 1%, they are being weighted on that company's balance sheet at 1,250%. The exposure at that point is insane. Will banks hold these? Who's risky out there? I don't know. We'll have to find out. Okay? To the amount by which the limit's exceeded. Where 2% limit is exceeded, the whole of Group 2 exposures are subject to the Group 2 capital treatment. Additional operation risk, liquidity leverage ratio and large exposure, supervisory review and disclosure requirements apply to both of these groups. Moving on. So now that we know what ART is, now that we know what EMTs are, we know what the crypto exposures are to Group 2 or Group 2 unbacked assets, and to Group 1 tokenized traditional assets and stable coins. Let's jump into MiCA. So, the asset reference tokens here. The public offering and admission of trading of art is subject to further stricter requirements, which is Title 3, Article 15 to 47. I'm not sure what this is yet. In addition to the CAWP, I'm not sure what that is either yet. Related requirements, the firms making an art offer to the public or seeking the admission of an art to trading are required to apply for an authorization, Article 16. I'm not familiar with the UK's legislation and how they have their regulations formatted, so I'm having a difficult time finding what Article 16 is. And meet certain fit and proper requirements, which is Article 21. The CRR, credit institution issuing arts, will be exempt from the authorization requirement and have to notify the competent authorities at least 90 working days before issuing arts for the first time. The issuer of arts is subject to own funds requirements, so they have to have their own funds, and obliged to have a reserve asset that meets certain composition requirements and are properly managed. That's Article 36. I want to see what Article 36 is. The reserve assets have to be held in custody in accordance with the custody policy. So they already have custody policies already. The issuer shall also draw up a recovery plan in case the events that pose a significant risk of disrupting operations and fail to meet the requirements applicable to the reserve. Furthermore, the issuer has to maintain an operational redemption plan of assets. I believe Ripple does. I have to go through their papers again and confirm this. Redemption plan to support the orderly redemption of each art. And this goes back to the prudential treatment of crypto assets, where that crypto asset, whatever that crypto asset is convertible to the price of USD, which is the price of a troy ounce of gold. And gold was the reference asset. So whatever that price of gold is equivalent to the price of USD at whatever that gold value is, can convert back into that crypto asset. So the three of these things are convertible. You're just juggling at this point. That's what you're doing. You're converting into all those things. Furthermore, I read that both the recovery and redemption plan have to be notified to the competent authority. If the art is categorized as significant, the issuer will be supervised by the EBA. So that's who my attention will be turned to next. The EBA, the European Banking Authority, and has to comply with certain liquidity requirements. Liquidity requirements. Need I say any more? Arts with an average outstanding value that does not exceed 5 million euros over a 12-month period, and that addresses solely to qualified investors and can only be held by such qualified investors, are exempt from the regulatory requirements. EMTs now, according to MiCA. The public offering of EMTs, the admission of EMTs to trading, and requirements of issuers of EMTs are set out in the Title 4 of the MiCA. Unlike arts, firms wishing to issue and offer EMTs will have to be authorized either as a CRR, credit institution, or an electronic money institution under the e-money directive. No possibility to become authorized under the MiCA is foreseen in this respect. So they won't even be issued under MiCA or regulated under MiCA. The issuer or the issuance and redeemability of EMTs are subject to the requirement under MiCA and not the EMD. EMD. Oh, Electronic Money Directive. So the MiCA provides for a stricter prohibition of granting interest in relation to EMTs, providing information in the CAWP, okay, that is not complete, fair, or clear, or that is misleading, can give rise to issuers and its management liability, as is the case of arts and other crypto assets. The offering to the public and the admission to trading require the firms to notify the CAWP, so the higher up entity or authority. And the notification needs to meet detailed content. They have to have specific information in there. Let's see what they are. And form requirements of the competent authority. Okay, the issuer of EMTs are required to deposit at least 30% of the funds received in separate accounts in credit institutions and invest the remaining funds in secure, low-risk assets that qualify as highly liquid financial instruments. As in the case of issuers of arts, EMTs issuers are required to draw up recovery and redemption plans and notify such plans to the competent authority. Moving on. So, under MiCA now. So we are under MiCA. This is really, really something here. This is where it gets hot. Real hot. And I hope you guys like regulations like I do, because this is where it becomes fucking, pardon my language, fucking phenomenal, okay? Listen to this. MiCA distinguishing between the activities carried out in the primary market, the issuance of crypto assets, and the services provided on the secondary market, that's us, known as crypto asset services. In detail, MiCA regulates transparency and closure requirements for the issuance and trading of crypto assets. We are the secondary market. The authorization requirement for and supervision of crypto asset service provider, there's CUSP, and issuers of crypto assets, and the proper business organization of crypto asset issuers and crypto asset service providers. The regulation also addresses investor and consumer protection, always that, for the issuance, trading, and custody of crypto assets. So here they are, the various rules set out in MiCA, coming out at different time frames. Rules regarding crypto assets, reference token, the arts, and e-money, set out in Title 4 and Title, I don't even know what that says, they start to apply in June 30th, 2024. Bam! So you can expect there should be a rise in gold before that, because if the arts are pegged to precious metals, real estate, a basket of currencies, that currency has to have value, that real estate has to have some kind of value, that gold or precious metal has to have some kind of value. Rules regarding the authorization and ongoing supervision of CUSP in Title 5 will apply on December 30th, 2024. So crypto asset service providers at that point, exchanges, that comes into play 2024 December. All other provisions of MiCA in particular are not directly applicable under Article 149 of MiCA, and they'll also apply December 30th, 2024. In addition, some individual articles already apply as of June 29th, 2023. So you guys got some dates here. You have key dates, right? I'm not telling you when we moon. I'm just talking to you about Europe's structure right now and what to expect leading up to these times here. There could be black swans during these times. We know June, July, that's when the Fed Now system came out. And we know that, who was it? XRP, not long after when it came out, went on a little tear. XDC had in Europe, was it September, when the Electronic Trade Document Act came into effect in September. So we're looking for September dates too. So here we are at Chainalysis now. Yes, it's Chainalysis here. They're okay. Here we go. Here you see it. This came out in September. Chainalysis team. All right. I don't just make stuff up here. I give you guys the facts. I show you the facts, man. I tell you everything. Ah, Mrs. Swan. I tell you, he look like a man. He look like a man. So here we are, UK now. These are based off of rankings. We'll go from the top here. So India, in terms of ranking, the 2023 Global Crypto Adoption Index, top 20. Based off of region, overall index ranking, central service value received ranking, retail, central service value. I can't make a rap out of this. P2P, DeFi, retail, whatever. So that's what they're ranking on. They have them 1 to, I don't know, 25 or whatever the heck that rating is at that point. 1 being good and the higher number being the latter of good. All right, India. Let's see where the UK is. United States is up there, guys. Due to dispopular belief or unpopular belief, the US is up there above Ukraine. Right? I've seen several videos now where individuals, regulators have said that the USD is already digital. Already digital. Let us see. There's the UK now. They are 14, 15, 20, 38. 38. These guys got some time. They got a ways to go still. We saw the 2024 dates. All right. We saw that 2024. Look where Canada is. 60. Like, look at this. Look at this. This is stupid. Canada's so far behind. We're like the second last on the list here. All right. So here we are, jumping into the regulations now. Other regulations. I guess this is the EU regulations. I don't know their structure, but I was reading through it, and it somewhat makes sense. Somewhat, but not really. Not like I understand the CARS, Canadian Aviation Regulations, understand the flow of that and how to jump between screens because I know what I'm looking for. This thing says to do this. Okay, I got to go to this standard here or this regulation here. Perfect. This regulation says I have to do this. Awesome. We as a company now do this. Why do we do this? Because this says to do this in this regulation based off of what they told us to do. Boom, that's how this works. So, what it says, markets and crypto assets are global and thus inherently cross-border. Therefore, the union should continue to support, let me show you where I am, international efforts to promote convergence in the treatment of crypto assets and crypto asset services through international organization bodies such as Financial Stability Board, the Financial Stability Board, the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, and the FATF, Financial Action Task Force. So you know who's been given the steering wheel now. Okay? So the UK is in the lead, and they're still providing power to these US companies here. Well, I guess the Basel Committee isn't a US company, but the FSB is. They were put in place by Obama, I want to say, in 2015. So, union legislative acts on financial services should be guided by the principle of same activity, same risk, same rules, and technology neutrality. Therefore, crypto assets that fall under existing union legislative acts. Who falls under legislative union acts? I wonder. I'm not going to say Tether. I won't say it. I won't say it at all. You can't make me. You cannot make me. Whatever. Tether on financial services should remain regulated under the existing regulatory framework, regardless of the technology used for their issuance or their transfer, rather than this regulation. So Tether's going to exist for now, but they don't meet this regulation's requirements. What happens afterwards? Huh. I guess we'll find out. You and I won't find out the hard way. We'll be on the sidelines, on the perimeter, just minding our own business, watching what happens. You saw what happened to Terra Luna already. Don't be amongst those people. Don't play the dumb game trying to make that kind of money. Oh, but if I follow Pepe, I can make some money. Don't be that. Because those fall under the old regulation, and once these regulations kick in, as we were reading dates already, for crypto asset service providers December 30th, 2024. If they're issuing those tokens, they will no longer be issuing those tokens after the 30th, or should I say on the 30th. All right? I'm just giving you the game here. I'm reading what they have in their legislations. So, the regulation expressly excludes from its scope crypto assets that qualify as a financial instrument as defined in directive, yada 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 yada. So, I don't know what a financial instrument is yet. I'm sure I can speculate on that. I'm sure we can both or all speculate on a financial instrument. We've seen Regulation E updated in the US, which lays out not financial instrument, but in terms of e-money transferring. XRP is underneath that now since 2019. And those that qualify as deposits as defined in directives, okay, of the European Parliament and of the Council, including structured deposits as defined in directive, okay, those that qualify as funds as defined in directive, the European Parliament and of the Council, except if they qualify as electronic money tokens. There it is again, EMT. Those that qualify as securitization positions as defined in the regulation of the European Parliament and of the Council, and those that qualify as non-life or non-life insurance contracts, pension products or schemes, and social security schemes, having regard to the fact that electronic money and received in exchange for electronic money should not be treated as deposits in accordance with the directive of the European Parliament and of the Council. E-money tokens cannot be treated as deposits that are excluded from the scope of this regulation. Whew. Whew. Heating up, heating up. Where was it? Here. So I'm going back now. This is a PWC. Alright, going back down there again. Well, we saw where certain countries ranked in terms of their position. This is a PWC, okay? Global Crypto Regulation Report for 2020. We are going back down again. I just want to show you guys that you see it's not just some random page that I'm reading here. Well, show your receipts, Mr. Man. I always do. Crypto regulations at a glance. Let's see who and how far along they are. The US. Well, let's just see what these things mean first. So there we go. Legislation, regulation in place for the check mark, the pencil pending, for the circle, process initiated, for the warning sign, regulatory process not even started, and the country prohibits cryptocurrencies. Let's see where the US is, okay? Let's see. So they got a pending for regulatory framework and stablecoins. They already have written down. They already have it. NY to DFS, New York. What the hell is DFS again? Digital Financial whatever system. I don't know. I don't remember what it stands for. Anyways, out in NYIC, New York Innovation Center, they already have stablecoin regulations. Boom. UK, pending regulatory framework, which I had read to you. AMCL, travel rules, and they're still pending stablecoins. But we know what those stablecoins are called already, EMTs and ARTs. We know EMTs are backed by one-to-one reference, the tokenized deposits, and then the ARTs, basket of currencies, could be cryptocurrencies, could be real estate, could be gold, could be silver, could be the Spider-Man mask, could be whatever the hell they want it to be. Is Canada even on this list? There's Canada. There is Canada. Yeah, we coming up, son. We coming up from the east side, well, from the west side, actually. I guess I'm showing my age there. But let's keep going down now. Let's keep going down. What do I want to read you guys here? I read you guys that. The global regulatory framework. Prudential treatment. Global developments. There's FATF. So here's some FATF stuff. We saw that the EU's regulation states that the FATF has regulatory oversight for the travel rules. Okay. Systemically important stablecoins in accordance with FATF, in July 2022, the committee, the CPMI, issued a final report providing clarity on the application of the principle of financial market infrastructures to stablecoin arrangements, which are considered systemically important financial market infrastructures. It is intended to assist national authorities in determining whether a stablecoin arrangement is systemically important. I picture something like this dropping in November. Why do I say that? Let me see if I can pull this up really quickly. All right. Every November, one of my favorite time of years, every November we get this. The list of global systemically important banks comes out every November. See that? I'm waiting for the one to drop this year to see what banks are on there and to see if there's a global systemic important stablecoin arrangement that drops at that point. Boom! Now you guys know my thoughts. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. We've gone through MiCA. There's the arts right there. Electronic money tokens and other crypto assets and utilities. We had gone through the Group 1A and Group 1B. MiCA is expected to enter into force in 2024, subject to ratification by the EU Parliament, which is expected in early 2023, and they passed it already. Right? They said it's coming into power in 2024, subject to this in 2023. So they knew it was going to get passed already. You see how it works? So this here, the service governed by MiCA are largely similar to MiFID regulations and trigger a licensing requirement for cusp. That term, I read that on a daily basis. Let me show you. This isn't part of my show, but it is now. Check this out. Look at this. Bam! I'm telling you guys, man. I'm tapped in. I'm tapped into this shit. ISDA positioned on key MiFID, MFIR, Trilogy issues. These guys have, let me tell you, ISDA's a big player in this. They're a global player in this. And this has to do with these guys here. Alright? And we're a Spider-Man mask, but I'm not a fool. Believe that. Believe that. I might act like one, but I ain't one. Mama don't raise no fool. I guess right now I'm a fool. But either way, is the commentary on key issues in MFIR trilogies. ISDA welcomes the progress made by the European Parliament and Councils towards finalization of the revised MiFID and MiFIR. In this paper, we have focused on a short list of the key issues for EU derivatives. Who joined the derivatives markets not long ago? Who joined the derivatives market not long ago? Who? Please tell me who. I'll wait. Okay, I can't wait that long. Here we go. Ripple. Who else is in the derivatives market? We also got Algo on this site too. What do you mean you don't believe me? What? Come on, you guys. You guys should know me by now. I back up everything I say. I always back it up. Algo's not going nowhere. They're not going nowhere. While we're in this bear market, I've been snatching up Algo. I've been snatching up XRP. You better believe that. Okay, so this has to do with liquidity provisions. So, ISDA's overarching philosophy in addressing the revision of MiFID and MiFIR is that this framework should ensure a safe and efficient legal framework which will both enable EU market participants to hedge underlying risks by assessing optimal pricing, and will also give EU liquidity providers, I don't think you heard me, it'll give EU liquidity providers the room to provide optimal pricing, allowing liquidity providers to compete both inside and outside the EU with their peers from other jurisdictions. I don't think you guys are following me here. We're talking about the liquidity providers. I just showed you Ripple. I just showed you Algo. We know XDC is a liquidity provider. right? We know the ETDA has gone live already. Live. All right. Take me to church. Take me to church where I worship like a dog in the dark of my life. Something like that. I don't even know. So, not there yet. Not there yet. I passed my car. I'm here. I'm here. I know, guys. I know I can be a fool, but I know y'all love me for it. I'm just being me. And that's all I can be. Sound like another song coming up. do 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 do. Other crypto assets. So here's other crypto assets. Okay, includes assets which cannot be transferred or offered for free or automatically created. A CBDC is other crypto assets or digital assets. Sorry, NFTs are other crypto assets. DeFi protocols are other digital assets. And then we have EU financial instruments, digital assets governed by the existing financial services rules as amended, including security tokens and derivatives on crypto assets. Well, ain't that a bitch? Huh? Didn't we just go over some derivative crypto assets? I'll leave that there. Y'all can call me conspiracy theory, us conspiracy theorists. I don't care. Where are we? Other crypto regulations. Okay. Here we go. Nope. Chainalysis. Yep. EU regulations. So, here we are. The World Gold Council. World Gold Council. Gold Outlook 2023. The global economy at a crossroads. I'm trying to put on my sweetest voice here. Okay. So, let's see what the global outlook is for the economy. Economic consensus calls for a weaker global growth akin to a short, possibly localized recession. What the hell's a localized recession? This is a global recession we've been in since last year sometime, when Biden was eating his ice cream and pushed the bar back. I'm from Canada, all right, not from the U.S. So, yet elevated inflation and the end of rate hikes in most developed markets. Is it? Is it the end of rate hikes? In this environment, which carries both headwinds and tailwinds for gold, our key takeaways are: a mild recession and weaker earnings have historically been gold positive. Further weakening of the dollar as inflation recedes could provide support for gold. Geopolitical flare-ups should continue. We are now in a war between Israel and Hamas, some terrorist group. And that will continue, and the flare-up to make gold a valuable tail risk hedge. Chinese economic growth should improve next year, boosting consumer gold demands. Ha! I showed you guys my gold last video I believe it was. So long-term bond yields are likely to remain high, but at levels that have not hampered gold historically. Pressure on commodities due to a slowing economy is likely to provide headwinds to gold. On balance, this mixed set of influences implies a stable but positive performance for gold. Boom! That said, there is an unusually high level of uncertainty surrounding consensus expectations for 2023. For example, central banks tightening more than is necessary could result in a more severe and widespread downturn. So, guess we're not getting that soft landing as they've been preaching about. Don't worry, Canada, we're getting a soft landing. Don't worry, US, we getting a soft landing. Baby, Now we're not getting no soft landing. Equally, central banks abruptly reversing course, halting or reversing hikes before inflation is controlled could leave the global economy teetering close to stagflation. I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to quickly reverse back down again at that point. that'll be dangerous at that point when you have stagflation. Why will they reverse down? Because inflation is going to shoot too high up, become hyperinflation, and it'll completely tap out the rest of the consumers at that point. So they'll have to quickly reverse to hopefully help people out, and then that's when they can roll out their CBDCs and roll out whatever else they want, their stimulus checks, and roll out their $50 check for $50 off for electric vehicles and whatever other plans they have implemented. On the flip side, a less likely soft landing, just like I said, that avoids recession could be detrimental to gold and benefit risk assets. So in the long run though, gold is going to be great. That's all I got for now. That was 45 minutes. But I hope you guys got something out of this.
We going all in, like we got nothing to lose. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves.